Go ahead and call village board in order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance, and if the minutes can reflect the role of the various trustees and staff, let's move on to item 3. Entertain a motion for the approval of the January 6th village board meeting minutes and filed 11-12 Public Safety Committee, 12-9 Board of Public Works, 12-12 Architectural Review Board meeting minutes as presented.
Make the motion. I'll second that.
Motion is second. As always, comments, questions, clarifications on the minutes. Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Move on to item 4. Anybody in the audience wishing to be heard on a non-agenda item? Sure, if you can catch your name, please.
Yes, Dan DeWard, 772 Overland Trail. I'd like to congratulate the Public Works for doing such a great job cleaning up. I can say that because I just got back from Skokie, Illinois, and I know how not to do it, and I know how not to walk on icy sidewalks or on icy thoroughfares. So great job on cleaning up this last weekend, and really nice job. Everything looks nice and clean from my perspective.
Okay. Thank you, Amber, if you can pass that along to the crew.
Definitely.
Appreciate it. Anybody else? All right, that being said, let's move on to item 5, business presented by the president. We did get notice that we did receive the comprehensive annual financial reporting award for probably, I don't know, is it like 21, 22 years?
I believe it is the 22nd or 23rd year.
So again, this is basically a reflection of the great work our finance department does in putting together the budget and the reporting for that. So pass along our kudos to the finance department. All right, let's move on to item 6, resolutions, ordinance, action items. Item A is a review and approval of the election day emergency response plan. Katie did an excellent job putting that together. Katie, you wish to give us a little background?
Well, we recently changed polling locations to Grace Lutheran Church, and as part of that, we needed to update our contingency plan to make it specific to Grace Lutheran Church. So it was just a general update in all, making sure we included everything that needed to be talked about.
Okay, and I know that there's a media effort that's going on right now. Jesse, you want to give us a little update on that?
Absolutely. Notices went out with the water bills, the year-end property tax statements, and also there's a brochure that is being distributed to all registered voters. We compiled the database through the election system, and that is being distributed as well. We'll also have a website and social media presence with this information as well.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that being said, I'll entertain a motion to approve the election day emergency response plan.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion second. Final comments on that item? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Move on to item B, is a resolution amending the 2019 budget. It's an item that has been in front of several committees. Basically, it was a repair work done in front of slope folks to address flooding. Anything you wish to add, Jesse?
No, it was a contractual item that we conducted repairs in response to some stormwater flooding issues. That being said, we utilized contingency funds in that 2019 budget and looking to do the budget amendment to record the transaction as such.
Okay, this is in the form of a resolution. Takes an offer, motion, and a second.
I'll offer.
Motion. Second.
Offer, motion, and second. Final comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Let's move on to item C, report of the Board of Public Works. Item 1 is a motion to accept the proposal from Core and Main to purchase 704 5/8 inch meters and 51 inch meters and the 754 radio registers for a cost not to exceed $168,622 be approved.
I'll make that motion.
Motion second. Amber, it's pretty straightforward, but for the media.
Sure, it is pretty straightforward, but this is going into our second year of buying the new meter system, which is the advanced metering infrastructure system that gives us much better customer service and more accurate meter readings for our water usage. This purchase does purchase the amount that we have counted for in the 2020 budget, but it is about $30,000 under budget, so we will see if we have time to do any further of them later in the year.
Okay. Any questions for Amber? Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 2 is a motion to approve the updated Village of Grafton standard specifications and detailed drawings dated January 2020, with all the noted changes and corrections be approved.
I'll make that motion too. I'll second.
Motion is second, and that detail is included in the packet. Amber, anything you wish to add to that discussion?
No, these are specs we've been working on updating for about the last year. They were severely outdated before that, so this gets us into compliance and what we would like to see in all construction practices throughout the village.
Okay. Any other questions for Amber? Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 3 is a motion to approve the Village of Grafton Construction Inspection Policy dated January 2020 be approved. Please note that an updated version of the document has been distributed prior to the meeting with a couple of additions that was based on comments that came out of the Board of Public Works. Those are highlighted in yellow. I'll entertain that motion.
Make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Comments, questions on that item? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 4 is a motion to approve the Village of Grafton inspection services for Blue Stem subdivision utilizing Kapoor and Associates of Milwaukee, Wisconsin be approved.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Amber, comments, questions? Pass through, right?
It is a pass-through. That is a developer-run project. They're looking to get going here in the next couple of weeks. And at first step, this is for inspecting new water and sewer services that will go in.
No questions for Amber? Motion is, sorry.
Just to note, Kapoor was the low bid or?
They were the lowest qualified bid. Yes, we did have some bids that were less expensive without enough experience to inspect the work.
Okay, any other questions for Amber? Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Move on, item D, report of the Public Safety Committee. Item 1 is a motion to approve the modification of Village of Grafton Chapter 9.38 disorderly conduct ordinance to include the description of disorderly conduct as written in Wisconsin state statutes. Be approved.
Make the motion to approve. Second.
Motion is second. Chief, you had a very good explanation. Do you wish to comment on this particular item?
I do not, just kind of bring it in line with state statute.
Very well done. Any questions for the chief? Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 2, 3, and 4 are very similar and really revolve around the same item. Any questions on taking those 3 items together? Okay, all right. So item 2 is a motion to approve the modification of Village of Grafton Chapter 10.36060 2-hour parking to remove the location of Municipal Lot 12th in Washington, which no longer exists, at the west end, first designated handicap and adjacent 6 spaces designated 2-hour parking be approved. Item 3 is a motion to approve the modification of Village of Grafton Chapter 11.44.010 parking, including parking lots owned by the Village of Grafton and adding the verbiage abiding by any posted parking hours within said public grounds or parking lots be approved. Item 4 is a motion to approve the posting of prohibited parking from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the 3 parking lots located at northwest corner of 13th Avenue and Washington Street across from Veterans Park, the northwest corner of 13th Avenue and Bridge Street, with this entire parking lot running from 13th to 12th Avenue, and the Grafton Square parking be approved. Looks like a lot of cleanup work based on some requests that came before public safety or to the village staff in a couple of months past. Do you wish to give a high level, Chief?
Sure, like you said, number 2 is just a cleanup of a lot that no longer exists, it's still in the ordinance books. Regarding the 3 and 4, it was brought to our attention this year that those lots were posted as permit only by overnight parking, and we realized there was nothing in the books for that, so item number 3 is just an ordinance that I found that we could rewrite it to cover parking hours at any village-owned parking lot as more come on board over the years. And then number 4 is just in particular those 3 lots that were found to be posted that way. to have them properly posted as 3 AM to 7 AM based off the discussions that we had at the village staff level is the one.
Okay, 3 AM covers part-time then.
Correct.
Okay. Questions for the chief?
Sure. Chief, so somewhere in the minutes I saw where it was noted that those ordinances were not enforceable. So what about those ordinances?
As written before,
Yeah.
those signs that were posted, there was nothing written in the ordinance for those signs to make them enforceable.
I see.
They were, whatever happened back then, it happened, whatever, but nothing was ever adopted for ordinance to have
Gotcha.
those signs enforced.
Okay.
Other questions for the chief? With that being said, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of items 2, 3, and 4.
I'll second.
Motion and second, final comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 5 is a motion to approve the terms of the intergovernmental agreement for law enforcement services for the 2020 Democratic National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin be approved.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Motion and second, apparently we have some people on the county SWAT team.
Correct, as part of the security for the DNC down there in Milwaukee is stretching their arms out wide for assistance. They've already requested the assistance of the Ozaki County multi-jurisdictional SRT team, which we have 2 members of. So being that they are technically village employees, we have to cross the Ts and dot the Is, and we have to fill out an intergovernmental agreement for their deployment, even though they are going as part of the multi-jurisdictional SWAT.
Okay, thank you. Questions for the chief? Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 6 is a motion to adopt the ordinance updating the village fire code Title 7 as presented be approved.
I'll make the motion.
Motion and second, chief's not here, but it's pretty straightforward. It looks like we just need to add verbiage for an additional permit that's required.
Correct, some supporting definition language for the items being permitted and adopting by reference the applicable NFPA standard.
So, again, just covering our bases for all the required permits. Motion second, questions on that item? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Move on to item 7.
President Ronco, I'm sorry to
Oh, I'm
interrupt.
sorry.
We had one other item for public safety that I'm just realizing is not on the agenda, as Chief Grissom realized. We had Mr. Singh here, who represents the bottle shop, who made a sizable donation to the police department. So I'm not sure how that got missed coming over to the board level. Is that something we will have to wait on then?
That we have to take it, approve the acceptance? Yeah, I think we'll have to, right? And it's not really identified as an action item.
Yes, for whatever reason, that action item was not included with the report of public safety that was given over to the clerk's office for the crafting of the packet. That said, we will ensure that it is on the next board agenda because that will have to be acted upon by the board, but it does need to be an agenda item in order for the board to take action.
Well, thank you very much. Anyways, I think this year you decided to split between police and fire. So, I mean, if you want to give a couple minutes for at least, we'll call that part of people wishing to be heard. We'll go back to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, the reason for the split was we actually raised quite a bit more than we did in the previous years. So we'll be, in amounts, we'll be donating 1,000 to each side. So there's 1,000 going to the Fire Department Association and 1,000 to public safety.
Okay. And I see the chief has already got good plans for that.
Correct, yeah, it's going to be used to help honor the reserve officers that help with community events and such. And every year, which we got coming up later this month, we always give them a dinner as a thank you. And then in November for the Christmas parade, not only their time, but the time of other volunteers of reserve agencies that come from other county organizations that help assist with the parade. We feed them a meal after the parade at the station, so that will help fund the cost of that operation as well.
All right, thank you. Can't make it official, but thank you very much for that donation, and we'll make sure it gets on the next agenda. So appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Mr. Singh.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, item 7, Department and Officers Report. We have a couple of department heads here. Any questions for them? Anything that they wish to pass along to the board?
I have a couple of things. I found on the League of Wisconsin Municipalities that we can order a DVD 4-disc set that is the Local Government 101 course, and I'm thinking that might be a really great thing, because then people wouldn't have to travel and go.
Yes, I looked into it. There's a fee for that. It's about $100 to order the disc.
Right.
It's only $25 to go to the class, but the gas, we would pay for that. So it would probably come out. There's a workbook, there is a workbook that is included with the DVD, so everyone would have to order their own.
Couldn't you get the USB drive and print it off?
I didn't realize there was a USB
Yeah, there's a
drive.
USB drive option.
Oh,
For
okay.
it.
I only saw the DVD.
Yeah. so
Okay,
the
I will definitely look into the USB
Yeah.
drive. Yeah.
Okay. And then the other question I have is for Chief Grissom of, I know you're down 2 officers right now.
Correct, we're down,
Well,
we
Mike.
staff with 3, but
Right.
we're down 2 already.
So I'm just wondering, I know the employment application period ended. So I'm wondering how close you will feel you are to getting those 2 sworn officers.
We just completed interviews this last Wednesday with a group of applicants. We had
Okay.
4 pretty good looking, maybe 4 prospects. They're set to go in front of the Police and Fire Commission next Wednesday for their review.
Okay, so
If
for the,
everything goes well with that, then we'll be able to move forward past that point. So
okay, so we're working toward getting you back up to your number of sworn.
Yep.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? All right, let's move on to item 8, licenses, and we have one license, one for approval, and that is 2 individuals and their place of employment for approval. Entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes, and item B is an actual motion for denial of operator's license.
I'll make the motion based on the chief's recommendation.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, comments on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Let's move on to item 9, for the bills. Entertain a motion for the village approval of village expenditures, $486,127.88.
Make the motion. Second.
Motion and second, I did see quite a bit of, a little bit of back and forth regarding some questions on the bills. Did you get your questions answered?
I did get, thank you for those answers, Jesse. I did have one other question though about the, it was on badge 2, page 3, about the HVAC contract with Cedarburg Heating for the police department. It says that it's a $3,900 cost. I'm wondering if that's per year, and is it every year, is this an ongoing?
Right, that is an annual maintenance contract that we've been renewing for some time, as Cedarburg Heating is very familiar with the system and has been helping us out quite a bit over the years. So that said, we go year by year with a maintenance contract, in essence buying a block of time, if you will, to help come in and troubleshoot little items that fall under that. And then obviously larger scope projects would be a separate, distinct, project scope and RFP maybe bidding, if you will, but for just day-to-day maintenance help, that is what that is.
So I did touch base with John Hanson from the library. They recently got an HVAC system installed.
Okay.
I believe it was 2018.
Sounds right.
He said they had a hard time finding somebody. They did find somebody. They do have a maintenance contract with a company out of Burlington,
Okay.
A to Z Refrigeration. They have a yearly maintenance contract of $800. So that's a significant difference. I am hoping that possibly we can look into that type of contract, or that company.
Certainly we can. I mean, certainly we can.
Can I just make a comment?
Sure.
Did you say the library got a new system?
They got it updated, built on to their previous system, is what Director Hanson told me.
Okay, because
2018.
the system that's at the police department, please correct me if I'm wrong, is kind of zoned in an older system, and do we really,
Well,
I
it may
think
not-
we're looking at 2 different
right.
things here.
It may not make sense, but it never hurts to investigate. It's just a phone call, right? And obviously, yeah, nobody would charge us to come out and, you know, put an estimate in.
Yeah.
And it may not make sense, that's fine.
No, but we have to look into it before we know one way or another, don't we?
Okay, other questions on the bills? All right, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Show one nay. Let's move on to item 10, entertain a motion to convene a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19851C. Consider performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercising responsibility, and specifically in regards to the administrative review.
Make the motion.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, got it, all right. So, convene a closed session. I expect this to take maybe 15 to 20 minutes. There will be no action afterwards. So with that being said, thank you very much.